absent without me 40 years. This Moses goes to Midian. He was so much like the Egyptians that the Midianites thought he was an Egyptian. He walked like an Egyptian. He spoke the Egyptian language. He was educated in the Egyptian school. He passed himself off as if he were an Egyptian, and he dwelt amongst the Midianites for 40 years. 40 years he lived there. 40 years he ate there. 40 years he slept there. 40 years he met a woman and married there. One of the seventh daughter of Jethro, he married her. Her name was Zipporah, and from her loins she birthed him 2 children there in Midianite. And Moses thought that he had gotten away from God. After all, he was successful in Midian. He had a job. He had a wife. He had sons. He had a life. He had been accepted. He had been inducted. He was a part of the Midianite community. 4 years is a long time. 4.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your girl Sprite. I'm about to do some braids and the queen twist buns, or the buns that you know I like Princess Leia. So I'll be talking much, but I'll respond to you guys later. But I will allow you to see. The last time everybody was like they couldn't see enough, so look, I got a spotlight this time, so you'll actually be able to see. All right. So I'll respond to you later or tomorrow because it is kind of late. If you're in the United States, then it's early. But if you're not, you know, I got you.
I hope to adopt them as my own.
Don't know what to root for. Call one side is nauseous. Or 4, there's no place to go. But oh my God, they took away from my stuff. You know what you want? 3 1/4 times. Yes, that would be perfect.
So the product I'm using
You mean you're good,
for
but
her
not good
hair
enough to do
is
this?
NYBEE.
Just missed out on excellence. Still get enough respect. Good people want to work with you.
That's
Business is
right.
good, crazy.
NYBEE Royal Edge.
It's a good sign.
You can find that at your local beauty supply, especially at Hairtown Super Center.
Well, I'm in the Bible section, and this good hip hop girl. Let's move forward. Now she tries thank you. This little hip hop girl was your name. Oh, yes. Oh, she's famous. It'll work. God bless the language barrier.
Oh, and then you guys see my hair rack back here? Let me let you take a closer look. It makes it easier if you have a hair rack and you set up your style, set up all your hair.
And then
So as I braid, it's already ready.
stop it. There's a story still left there. Still a good story. She said,
Just like it.
and now I think everything's part of my fridge, part of her fridge. The mother, I put on one of your records. Oh, well, you think your life is embarrassing, and then somebody finds encouragement. You understand? Okay. Mom, it's not even noon. Well,
This is going to work.
you're not know anything.
Free near mine. The president, whose policies many consider responsible for the Great Depression.
I don't know.
Name a vacuum cleaner.
What?
John Lurker Hoover.
Okay, I got it.
Hoover.
I said I had it. You don't trust me?
Okay.
I no longer know nothing.
And Hoover was followed in office by.
I'm just filling blanks. I'm embarrassed. My own fault. Spent all my time on math. Lucky if I'm a flunk anyway.
Stop. The man what you're looking for is not a ruse.
Who's about? I've never heard of that word before, and I'll lock it in. Hey, surprise! New clothes! What? What did I do right? Your house sale.
Pull out the Lord.
I got so much stuff.
Right, you needed a boost.
Listen, I can't even. Eight?
What?
Okay, you can rest.
Eight, Bernie. Come on, listen. Come on, Bernie. You're gonna do it, and you're gonna look beautiful. Oh, honey, you are gonna lose that weight, and oh.
So she brought two different colors, so I'm mixing them together.
I'm glad you didn't get here earlier because then I would be able to tell you that your gift to me is rude. Oh, honey, please excuse me.
Hey, Bernie.
I just need to be home right now. I'm sorry. It's okay.
I'm just gonna hang out here. Wait for you, okay?
Her pediatrician intervened on his own daughter's weight. She is an 8.
And don't need a minute.
Yes.
This is the same pace. I'm talking about, John, we gotta be on the same page. It's the most important thing. You and I need to be on the same page. I don't know why this has to be so hard. She's right between the two sizes. I thought about it. What am I supposed to do? Encourage her denial or motivate her to get herself in shape? Look. Bye. Nico. No,
Help you with the door. No, I meant,
my mother did not understand her little boss. He seemed as upset as she was over what had been done to Bernice,
Shit!
and yet had done nothing.
I'm running out of excuses for the lady of the house! But man, Bernice's finals tomorrow. She didn't need this one. I just don't look at her face when she got the gives. Like for 1 second, she thought all the problems with her mother had been solved.
He appeared to be a good man, but to someone with first-hand knowledge of Latin macho, he seemed to have the emotions of a Mexican woman. She had no idea how to react, except to flee.
Yes. Whoa. What are you doing? We're still moving. I'll take you all the way to the bus stop.
Ya está aquí.
You gotta let me take you all the way. I'll take you. All the way. How weird was this ride? Sorry.
No se preocupe.
So the parts of her hair that's curly, she got like 2-3C soft. I use the NYBEE to tame it. This way her hair won't be sticking through the braids afterwards.
Tienes que ayudar.
The NYBEE comes with rose water and rice water,
Her rules were bending.
meadow seed,
She was losing
royal
her battle
honey,
to remain uninvolved with the Klaskys.
raspberry. So it's actually a nice super glow, and it's a good moisturizing conditioner to add to the color that's on the tips of her hair, so her hair will be moisturized. I did do 4 conditionings on her tonight since she's getting her braids, so that her hair can grow while she has this style.
No como la otra. No más quiero algo como, ándale, muévate.
The conditioners that I use, I'll let you guys see
Just try.
probably in the next videos, because I wait for endorsement before I show different things that I use. If a company does not endorse me, I do not use their products,
Just.
or I do not use their products and I don't promote them.
Lo siento.
There is one particular cultural difference which I wish to explore academically at Princeton. American women, I believe, actually feel the same as Hispanic women about weight, a desire for the comfort of fullness. And when that desire is suppressed for style and deprivation allowed to rule, dieting, exercising American women become afraid of everything associated with being curvaceous, such as wantonness, lustfulness, sex, food,
Look down.
motherhood, all that is best in life.
Buenos días.
Hey! Buenos dias, Flor.
Hey. Wow.
Yeah, well, taste she has.
Just try it on.
When did you learn to speak English?
Nada. Just try it on.
It's too tight. It doesn't fit.
Bernice. Just try it on. Hey.
It's too small. I'm too big.
Just try it on. Just.
Okay. I'll show you.
Thanks.
Love Luna is friend today. World's most true Mexican. Learns her first sentence and uses it to watch me grunt my way into a fence.
Okay. No.
Okay.
lonely again. And only last year, everything seemed so sure. Now life is awful again. A trough full of hearts.
We're having a prayer with Jocko, or Itsy Spider. Thank you.
I know. But every time he has a nightmare, I teach him one of my old songs. And that way, his nightmares have a purpose.
But I don't have to sing it for anyone.
Right, you're clear on that.
How did you just love this song, Grandma?
He likes to know that stuff.
She was huge. Here it goes.
76,000, which is great for a jazz album.
Fuck you. For God's sake, why scream?
Why am I crazy about the why aren't you screaming?
I'm working on it. Just the stun thing has to get dealt with.
John Klasky.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. John Klasky,
Ah.
who at 25 made his mark on the New York restaurant scene,
Okay.
has
okay.
reemerged as a young and confident veteran, taking chances with his combinations,
Your sister's talking.
beginning with a succession of appetizers. He's constantly and casually daring. Dad, this is so great. I can't hear it. Eating at this perfect, smaller, passionate restaurant inspires one's own abandonment of caution. To wit, John Klasky is the best chef in the United States.
Look how great you read it.
Perfect, Dad.
John, 4 stars. Oh my God. You even look different to me.
I wonder what Mom will do.
I read it!
Oh. All right. What is this?
I don't know. I'm just so happy for you and all your hard work.
Ah. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, don't worry, I'll wait for you. Nice move. We are so smooth. Right on. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the mother of 2 children. Look at that. Yeah. You look good. You too.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, so you can see the grade of her hair.
Go. All right. Okay. You don't even need me, do you? Just go. Nah, she's on. It's all you.
Yeah.
That's right. No, don't get sad. You had fun, I swear. Deb, cheer up. Deb, cheer up. No.
What am I gonna do about me?
No, not yet.
Makes sense. Wanna see if we can hide?
Hi.
Mi amiga Luz. Hi. Joe Gasky.
¿Cómo se dice leí su crítica al esposo?
I read your good review. I read your good review. They read me the good review. Nice.
Not so far.
Dice que ni tanto.
I'm sorry, how you doing?
I do fine.
¿Cómo se dice que sea feliz?
Be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to talk to you. Okay?
You deserved it.
You were terrific. And congratulations. You guys worked hard. Adrian, what's wrong?
I've gotten a fantastic offer from my own place. Everyone wants to back me since the paper came out.
I can't lose you and keep the hours I'm keeping. I can't do my life unless I hold on to you. I think I just gave you an incredible bargaining position.
So you gave away 20% of the restaurant without even talking to me about it?
I had to right then, or I would have lost them. Then I wouldn't have enough time with the family.
I don't exist.
Sure you
I was all worried, just trying to figure out the timing to talk to you about running a place for this summer.
do. Well, I think you have your time.
Mom, the realtor's here. Are you coming? Come on. All right, I'll be back later. Hi.
Hi there. I'm Mike.
Deborah, hi.
There's a great rental that just came on the market. So we're starting at the top.
Okay.
Good.
I'm never gonna be one of those girls whose hair was perfect like in every part.
Georgia City Forward.
It just
You must be in trouble.
oh, look at that. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Oh, beautiful, fabulous, perfect. What word is the same in Spanish? Oh,
Qué
what else?
linda.
Thank you.
Magnífico.
So this will be your
Okay,
right?
bam.
Don't worry, I'm gonna have lots of nice stuff here too. Ignore it.
Did you ask her if she could get in?
Come on, there's no buses from Earth here. There's no question. Double. Saguaro, Carbon Beach. Saguaro, Carbon Beach. What to do? What to do? Oh, it's gonna be so great. Come on, come on. I'm gonna get some of this plate everything. English. Why won't you learn English? Be careful. I'm gonna have to learn. You must learn English and Spanish. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you speak English? All right, then would you please help me? Will you translate for me with her?
Sure. Oh, sure, forever. Hey,
I rented a house for the summer, and so she needs to sleep at the house because of the bus schedule.
Ella dice que rentó una casa durante el verano y quiere que te quedes con ella.
No, sorry.
What? Why?
Porque tengo una hija en la cuenta.
She can, because her daughter.
You have a daughter?
¿Tienes una
A
hija?
whole daughter you've never mentioned? This is a little crazy that I don't know this.
Ella dice que se
No,
parece.
don't translate aside.
¿Trabajas para ella?
Usted nomás dígale que no puedo vivir aquí en la casa.
She said she can't live here. Because her daughter.
got that.
Mira, tengo mi propio negocio, acabando carros. Mira,
Your daughter can also live here for the summer. Go, tell her that.
Deborah, if she didn't tell us about her child, she has to have a deep sense of privacy. Privado, it's privado. We can figure out how she can still live at home. Hell, I don't mind driving her at night.
Let's spare the world you on the roads, okay?
What are we gonna do?
entonces, ¿qué vamos a hacer?
I'm sorry, my friend, but this is what I need. It's just for the summer. I don't want to lose you. But
No te quiero ofender, pero
está bien. Viviré aquí con la niña.
she said she live here with you.
The first time one sees natural beauty, which is privately owned, oceans as people's backyard, confounds the senses.
Oh my God,
I didn't know God had a toy store for the rich.
this is so clean. Beautiful. ¿Por cuánto vamos a estar aquí, man? 3 meses. 3 months. 3 months. We're gonna be staying here for 3 months. 3 months. We're gonna be staying at this beach for 3 months. This is amazing.
You want to go swimming?
Lord, look at this child. Oh my God, you could make a fortune at surrogate pregnancy.
How you doing? I'm John.
Hello.
Great.
Come on down, meet everybody. Bernie, I'm Deborah. And this is my daughter, Bernice. Hi. And here's Georgie. And my mother, Evelyn.
So glad to meet
No
you.
comparisons, please. No comparisons.
You're gonna respond to that.
Será mejor que subamos a ese para acá.
Okay. Well, Mom says it's best if you just get out of your way and put that things away.
Yes, go get settled. That's...
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Okay, here's the idea. I need to make certain I'm sure you fit that sea glass like this. Alright? This bits of broken glass that the ocean sand just blasts over the years. So here's the deal. You guys go hunting for it. I'll give you 50 cents for any piece you find. $1. Any piece that's bigger than that sucker right there. All right, $5 for any piece that isn't brown, clear, or green.
We really have to do this.
What? Let's go! Let's do it! Have fun!
No, I don't know.
Go get him, kid.
Me too.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Oh my gosh! Jordan! Hey! Hey! Christina! Hey! Come here! Over here! Did you see it? What's wrong? She's wild-eyed over this.
Lord?
Estoy bien, de verdad, estoy bien.
I'm sorry. Very sorry. This should be back shortly. No, you don't have to worry. There.
Thanks.
That made a mistake. I understand how you feel. You understand what I'm saying right now? At all?
No.
This is Patty code word?
Simpático, sí.
Un momento. I really am sorry that this is happening. I just wanted you to know that. I'm so sorry. Truly. Whoa. I didn't mean, I meant just a normal sorry. So I'm gonna go to work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking me.
Geez, stop thanking me. I enjoyed having the company.
It was just, I don't know what to say. It was just so many things. And you knew so much about all of them. The way you made those people lower the prices, though. I just think that you're... Never mind.
Now go ahead. I can take it.
I just think that you're the most amazing white woman that I've ever met.
That is so nice to hear. absurd, but deeply appreciated, Christina.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're so kind. This is the best day ever.
What? Something bad happened? Christina, tell your mother those washed right out. It's no big deal.
Not right now.
What? I mean,
You can't just take someone else's kid.
No.
Make it all that.
don't go there. I'll go there, and you know where there is. I mean, can you believe what a big deal Florida is making this into? It's just, please, shoot me if I ever become that person.
Usted no se puede llevar a mi hija sin mi permiso.
What's this?
For you.
From? Okay, look, you are not yourself. This was written in anger. I would just, will you hold on, just look, sleep on it. If you still want me to have it, that's fine. I don't think you will. When it's calm and rational thought returns, just sleep on it. Just sleep on it.
She didn't even want us to know she had a daughter. And on the first day, you take her kid away without even asking. I think that's a little...
What? Insensitive? Elitist? Narcissistic? Irresponsible? Perverse? Busy? What?
stupid.
When is anyone in this damn house, in this damn life, gonna consider my feelings? I just tried to make a lovely kid feel welcome. There is no reason to rape this over. I let it go and gave Flora the room to let it go, which I'm sure she has. It's over. Just get on board, child. I said.
Okay, you can look down.
Well, I'm broke.
No, please, don't worry about it. You really don't have to pay me. Please, don't worry about it.
Hey, I'm just kidding. Okay, so when you count it up, you give me a
I did count. Many, many times. I didn't sleep. I counted.
All right. What do I owe you? Give it to me.
$640.
Really?
Yes. I'm really sorry.
No. No. All right. I don't know. How about we figure this out tomorrow? Okay?
No, you even told me. You said that.
I know. I promised. It's all coming back to me now. Let me just go deal with this.
Christina.
te digo nada. Sí, te dice. Ándale. My mother wishes for me to represent exactly what she says, nothing else.
What?
¿Puedo hablar con usted? May I talk to you?
You mean your mother? Yeah. Sure. You can talk to me.
¿No me tengo que dormir primero? I don't have to sleep first.
What's wrong? Come on, sit down.
¿Usted ya piensa que hago? Did you give this one to my daughter?
I made a deal with the kids, all the kids.
Oh, no, disculpe. Oh, no, please. ¿Qué no acostumbra usted a preguntarle a los papás? You don't tell or ask the mother when you give a child a word change simplemente por a word. Well, let's get the beach for stone. ¿Cuál es la palabra? What is the word for this?
Sea glass.
Vidrio del mar. No me refiero al nombre de la piedra. No, not a name for the stone. Digo la palabra para la acción, para lo que usted hizo. A name for the action, what you did. Gringo.
Oh boy, Braid's gonna be rough.
Smart.
I had no idea it was gonna amount to that much money. I thought it sort of cost $50.
Yo no sabía que iba a ser tanto dinero. Yo creí que iba a ser por lo menos $50. $50 es mucho dinero. But $50 is a lot of money.
I know.
Yo sé.
Oh shit!
No hay miedo.
I'm sorry. Come on. I get what you're upset about.
Entiendo por qué estás enojada.
Excuse me.
Okay, listen.
It might not look it, but I'm good at getting things.
Aunque no lo parezca, pero realmente puedo comprender esas cosas.
I know what it's like when you feel your kids being messed with.
Sé lo que se siente cuando se mete con sus hijos.
Won't happen again.
No va a pasar de nuevo.
It won't.
No va.
All right.
Okay.
Late.
Está
Guys,
bien.
get sleep.
Vámonos a dormir. No. Si yo creyera que esto se puede resolver con this is not allowed to be helped by some little apology. I would be a fool to bring it up. Pero necesito que para lo que I need to say no matter what the result. Y si tengo que ser grosera con usted. I need to be impolite. No se meta con los hijos de las otras personas. You leave someone else's child alone. ¿Qué dices de vender? ¿Qué no se va a decir con no? It is easy for us to contradiction. And it encourages questions and parents. And that makes it less safe. Mire, look. Su esposa se la lleva a caminar. Your wife takes her for little tours. Le cambia el peinado. And she changes her hair. Usted le da dinero. And you give her money. Tome. I didn't go to Amy too, but it's only emotional. I mean,
What about hypocritical? Yes, you heard me. It's not like you didn't do the same.
no.
Yes, you did. So why don't you let me translate it for that one? Then what am I lately? Recycling? Anybody dumping their garbage about 18 years for laughing? Yes, you do the same thing. You think I don't know about you altering those outfits for Booty? She tells me it's stuff. So am I missing something? Is there really a difference between that and what you were complaining about?
Oh,
Excuse
what
me.
the studio doing here? Oh, you can come if you want to
No hay
come.
diferencia en interferir.
You want to come over?
Interfere.
Yeah, do you want to come over? You okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty wild to say something to somebody and have the other person just concede the point.
Oh. Okay.
Dazed here.
Estoy muy sorprendida que me dieras la razón.
Okay. I'll call you and see if you're still up when I'm finished.
Yo me
Ok.
siento avergonzada.
Bye.
I feel really embarrassed.
Usted tiene razón, es hipocresía.
And you were very right. Hypocrisy, yes.
Okay, that's that doesn't happen very often.
She said that we'll leave whenever it is good for you.
No. You can't quit the job, even if you wanted to, and you know why.
Pero tú no puedes renunciar, aunque tú quisieras. Tú sabes por qué.
Yes, you do. You know. Because if you do, Christina will blame herself for costing you the job.
Porque sí, entonces Cristina se echará la culpa por haberte perdido el empleo.
And that guilt,
Y esa culpa,
I don't know if you know about guilt.
yo no sé si tú sabes de su culpa. Culpa, guilt, sí, we know, we're Catholics.
Culpa, sí.
We know.
You can't do that.
No puedes hacer eso, Rachel.
Welcome back.
And
Ya no puedes seguir traduciendo, me tengo que leer eso.
you can't be translating for me all the time. I need to learn English now.
Eso es para ti, no para él.
I really wasn't supposed to translate that.
Listen to your mother. She knows it all.
¿Qué? Nada.
Learning English would cost $599 down and 12 monthly payments of $86, which represents 22% interest. Assimilation gets expensive, but not a penny was wasted.
Food.
Muy bien.
No. Several. Varios, varias. Several.
Several.
Again.
Several.
Good. Several. Demasiadas. Too many.
Too many.
Right. Too many.
How about a movie tonight? Have you any particular one in mind? I really enjoy the Star Wars trilogy by Mr. George.
Congratulations, John.
Chef, it just keeps building.
Hey, yay!
So,
You
should
know
we just
what?
stop answering the phone? They're both before us.
No. I want to keep some walking business. I want this to stay neighborhood. The trick is stay the same.
Impossible, Chuck. There'd be riots. You should hear the desperation in their voices. This is the best time of your life.
We'll serve a full man at the bar.
We're like with the people waiting for a table. But won't work, Chuck.
Let's do this for me.
There's no way.
Do this for me or I'll set my hair on fire and start punching myself in the face.
Huh?
Yeah, you're right. That was an unusual way for me to make myself understood.
Oh, it's Mike. Great. Yeah, I'm just walking right out the door. Okie dokie. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Great, thank you.
Thank you for the ride home, but it was not necessary. All right. Yes. Boy, stop. That's never been more than yes. Yes. He's good at this. Incredible. Who was always there for you at 2:30 in the morning? Jump! You better do something about it. Jump, you're gonna throw your arm out. Don't you sleep anymore?
The more you do it, the more you learn.
Or you're doing fantastic. Yes.
Now, I am a 2-year-old.
No.
I finished.
No. Keep going. No, not until you finish it.
Your wife go out.
Did she say where?
Sorry.
Hey, listen, I forgot she was going out. You're smart ass. I'm sorry. You and I, we are communicating apologies anyway, so I'm sorry. I should be whipped. I should be stoned. It's been a while. I meant to say, don't be smart. Not smart ass. Don't be kind. Don't be sensitive. Don't be wonderful. I'm way too close. I'm sorry again. I meant to say hi, Floor. Good night, Floor. I sure you're watching on your head.
Oh, John, no, no, no.
And you too.
What about the point I'm making? It's good, right? I mean, Christina has already read on her own every book on Bernice's summer reading list. She's still braids behind her. Can you imagine if she went to Bernice's school? You know, I think I could probably get her a scholarship. I mean, God knows they owe me. Talk to the floor. Yeah, she's open to new things.
Look down, honey. Look down.
I'm going out. So, anyway, you know what, I'm probably actually gonna be in the smells really bad, so I'll just check in with you later. Just can't find my keys. Deborah, Arlene, what a surprise. Oh, this is Christina, the girl I'm always raving you about. Christina, this is Arlene Paulson, she's the school director. Right.
Hello, pleasure to meet you, Miss Wilson.
It's like a little tour.
Really?
Great. She's gorgeous, isn't she? It's pretty. We ran into the head of the school and Christina knocked her out. I had nothing to do with it. Incidentally, the scholarship is worth $20,000. The early registration is tomorrow.
It is too far from my home.
Well, you could move into town with us.
Yeah.
Fine, don't. By the way, the phrase is no, thank you.
Mom was caught in a vice of manipulation.
Please, dear God. This is the most important part of my life. It's about my education, the health of my brain. Please, dear God, enter my mother's heart. Make her understand what the school needs.
Hi, Floyd. Hi. What's what? Nothing, waited.
How you doing?
Hi. I was just reading.
Okay. Poor guy.
Nobody knows. Look. Thanks for never judging. I love you. I love everybody. This has killed me. May I talk with you?
Me? Just spoke to Deborah, Sheila, and be back soon if you need to go home or something.
I need to talk. It's okay.
No, sure. Sure. I'm sorry.
Outside?
Okay, are you ready?
You have me a little nervous here. Are we ever gonna stop? Just asking.
You know about Christina and your Braids school?
Right. They did.
I don't know what to do.
Don't ask me. I'm worried about my own kid going there. Because they keep sending her home anxiety ridden, mostly over geometry. I mean, you get Bernice. In a decent world, her school should let her know how great she is, right?
You don't have to worry about Bernice. Nothing is going to change that hard.
Good thing.
It's just great to hear someone else say that out loud. Hard to explain.
I'm sorry. I take you here. I make too much of this, right?
No, you have a right to worry about this. This is the job. These are the decisions. Worrying about your children is sanity. And being that sane, the way you are, can drive you nuts. Someone like you, I'm sorry. You think you're at some crossroads? You are. You are. I wish I could help you more.
I never know a man who can put himself in my place like you do. How did you become that man?
I don't know. You get out of the damn way! Sit down! I didn't mean to. I want to be helpful. It's been hard being a widow, doing it on your own.
Why do you think I am a widow?
I guess I thought that would be the only way God would leave you. So, okay. Are you gonna send her?
I don't know. I think if I do, one of two things happens. Either she will be up
Yes.
or she will make herself the same of them.
I felt the same way about my kid going there. But between odd and the same, you gotta be rooting for odd, don't you?
Yes, you gotta. Thank you. Good night. I'll go to sleep.
Hey! You speak in English. It's
Well,
nothing. Nice meeting you.
Here they are. Hey, you guys just made it. I was getting worried. Hi. Oh. I picked up your books yesterday. Oh, just put them in one of Party's ancient backpacks.
Thank you. This is gonna be graceful. I can tell by the weight.
I got her just a little First day to new school presents. Just a little something from me and Bernie. It's okay, right? I mean, come on, it's a big day.
What did we get her?
Wait. Wait, hold on. It's from all of us. Your mom too.
These look from me.
Okay, let's get going. Don't be late. Come on.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And everything.
Have a great year, girls. This is so great. Hey, you're fast. Better pace yourself. I'm ready to call this track. Watch out. Delivering my candle. See ya. I love you for trying.
When people exist under one roof, a tiny society forms, the stuff of novelas, masters and servants, unconsciously dancing in lockstep, so that when things go wrong, traumas converge. At Mrs. Plaskey's urging, I had invited 2 of my friends to her house, though I was expected at home. Monica had finally managed to get her mother here from Mexico, and my mother was making a party.
Bueno. Hey, sorry to call you so late, but the girls are still studying, and I gotta go out. But I know that I promised to get back to you. So I'm going to cut off the schoolwork. That's fine, whatever you want.
Let me think.
Okay, you think about it, and hey, listen, Flora, if you're tired or want to play, then just let her sleep here tonight, and I'll get back to you in the morning. You think about it. Call me back. Bye.
Ahora qué pasa.
Tengo que sacar la tija.
¿Sí? ¿Sí?
No es complicado, ¿eh? No pasa nada. Nada, ahora es muy bien, empezar el contero. Wait! I need to talk to you privately, honey.
No, Mother, I can't right now. I'm really late. I'm looking all over for you. Will you keep an eye on the kids? You've got my secret cell number.
Just give me a moment to talk here.
Is it very honest?
No, I gave up drinking weeks ago. Yes, nobody noticed, which shows I probably conducted myself pretty well as a drunk.
But Judy called, and I'm sober. So, may I say just one thing?
Yes, Mother, one thing. Go ahead.
Deborah, you are going to lose your husband if you don't stop what you are doing. And you will never find someone as good. The only men who you know are cheap, shallow, and have no real warmth in their souls. You may have gotten by on those surfaces once, but now you have been spoiled by a good man. If you do not act quickly, you will soon submit an awful fate to yourself, a life with no hope of repair, which has already begun to turn desperate and dumb. That's it. Oh, Carolyn. Oh, hot coffee. Over for me.
Well, you've done it again, Mother. Made me eat myself. One of the things I can count on.
Honey, lately your low self-esteem is just good common sense. John,
Yeah,
better wait a minute.
nothing's wrong.
Nothing.
Can I urge you in all hopelessness not to go in there?
Dad? 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 Where are you?
Over here.
What?
Stay there then.
What?
I know what I gotta do, but I just gotta get up the guts.
Is it absolutely necessary to make it this scary? Can you just say it?
It's not so easy.
Yeah, come on, it's me. We can talk.
Do I ever hope so?
I'm sorry. Come on. What is it?
I've been saying over it for the last 11 weeks, and it was nothing, and I ended it tonight. At first, it was just giving up, and I on the real estate market, and it was me being insecure and searching for some ridiculous validation.
Hold on. I'm missing what you're saying. Hey. Okay, you can't keep talking and expect me to follow it when you start the way you did.
Oh, just what did you hear?
Well, there's a crack in the plan.
Okay, you can hold that. Thanks.
There's an actual noise in my head. No kidding.
I'm not at my mother.
If you talk that fast, I'm not gonna hear you. A lot going through my mind right now. Have you said yet whether you slept with him?
So far, I've just been talking about flirtation because it really.
Have you said whether you had sex with another person? Because I really am missing your words, so help me out here.
I've been trying to explain it for the first 10 weeks.
You still haven't said yet, right?
Is this your way?
Yes, this is my way. This is my way of asking you whether or not you. Once I ask it, figured out if there's a way to avoid knowing. Damn it. There's not. Okay. You're on. Real short answer. Have you had?
Yes. You had I'll answer everything. Anything and more.
What questions could it be?
Are you really that much nicer than me?
You don't set the bar real high.
John, just wait, please, just wait, John, just listen. I think that listen to exactly what happened, and then you can do whatever you need to. Just please let me tell you everything. Ah. It's just war.
Oh, what are you doing here? I want my daughter. I want to talk to Mrs. Gaskell. I want to quit. I don't think you can do any of that right now. I got it.
The reason I took this chance in telling you is that I want us to be good. I want us to be close. I want to feel like you're not nuts to be in love with me. So what I think we should do is I think we should just talk until we pass out. I mean, talk until we are so sick of each other that there's nothing left to do but take that first step out of hell. Okay, so let's not leave this room until you've heard and said everything, okay? Please, say it again.
I'm sorry, what?
John? You didn't hear me?
Yeah, you keep talking. Stay put.
I don't think you want to wake her up when you're feeling this upset. And the others are right there too.
What are you doing? Where you go?
I am leaving. Finally,
Sure, I'll drive you. So, I don't mind. I gotta go.
if you truly don't know why I say no, let me at last say that was yeah, that I
I'm really gonna right now.
oh. Goodbye, Chuck. Bye.
Wait, I'm taking you.
No, why?
Because if I go and I worry about going, I can't handle that right now. Come on, here, come on.
I quit this job.
I quit this job! I think I meant that to someone else. I'm sorry. Sorry. Very sorry.
Permíteme, pastor.
Wait, don't go! Would you be willing to hang out with me for a while?
Want to hang out with me?
Yes.
Then I have to ask you,
What?
what does hello mean?
It means what? Is it?
Okay. I've never seen your face. Very, very.
I'm gonna cook you.
Hey, please. I am glad to visit with you. If I just left the job, I never spoke with you. It would have been sin. You understand?
Yeah. My hand is the only same part of my body. Every other part was to jump off the cliff. That's it for now. I already broke my record with smooth.
I don't understand.
No, it's me. I'm not making any sense. But I can get you back.
You want a drink?
No. Wait, I don't think you should be there.
Well, then excuse me, because if I had the equipment, I think I'd inject the vodka.
Just think it's so important that we are each clear-headed. Very good. You didn't ask what.
Keep things real, right?
I wouldn't have put it so well.
Let's get this going here.
Beautiful.
So tell me again why I can't call on a cell again?
Besides that he turned it off,
Yeah.
forwarding messages start to look needy.
No.
She said 40 messages begin to look needy.
You are enjoying it? Jesus, Mother. I'm enjoying actually being of use to my daughter. I'm enjoying the fact that I really know how to advise you. And the miracle that you are so deep, disoriented, that you are gobbling up everything I say.
Something I want to say to you about you and me.
You don't have to.
No, I want to. Okay? You were an alcoholic and a wildly promiscuous woman during my formative years, so that I'm in this fix because of you. It is your fault. And I just am hoping for us to go.
You have a solid point, dear. But right now, the lessons of my life are coming in handy for you.
That's it. That's it. I should tell you what happened to me tonight. But I don't want to spoil this. I don't want to spoil this.
I will remember everything. It's something watching you.
Wow. Anything at your end, imagine over here. Scratch that. The last thing you want to hear is somebody going off on your looks.
Don't be crazy, tell me every detail.
Okay. Okay, I will. Is your name a ginger ale? Looking at you doesn't do it. Staring is the only way that makes any sense. Try that and blink, so you don't see. And all of that, and you're you. Forgive me. It's just you are drop dead crazy gorgeous. So much so that I'm actually considered looking at you again before we finish up here. I know, we can't do anything that brings us any kind of satisfaction or release. But I'm still having a great time.
My mother has often referred to that evening at the restaurant as the conversation of her life.
Ever since that day,
Mm-hmm.
I knew you were in the room. I just wanted to go in there.
When I hear you coming, I live.
Yeah. That's why we haven't seen each other lately.
Why is everything so dark and confusing? Is it driving me crazy?
Oh, it's in the legs. Braid. It's pretty good.
Like happy.
Like happy.
You think that we have?
I just keep
understand what you mean.
No, I don't understand.
But it's getting late. There's responsibility. Have ended your dream. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Thank you. You're right. I won't.
You're great. No. No. There's some mistakes. You cannot risk when you have children. Get ready to go.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Stay put for a second. Stay there. Once our feet touch that floor, I'm gonna get too many brain cells back. Don't be in such a hurry. That's absorb. Eat us alive.
Oh, God. You gotta tell me everything.
No.
Oh, yes.
No. You know that right now, you are your own worst enemy. You can't trust one thought in your brain.
Duh.
Trust me. And only allow yourself to say one thing to him. One thing. I am so glad you're back.
What?
Yes.
But I have to name it. Very touched her. And very touched her. I touched her. And now he felt afterwards. I mean, whether they held hands. Well,
Just those words. If you want to have a prayer of coming out of this.
okay. Now I
Go to him.
go. Oh, Jesus, do I need it? Oh my God.
You need a hose. But you don't have the time. It's fine that you go like that. It's genuine. You can use genuine.
Thank you.
Oh, honey. Not the worst thing in the world to find out that you love your husband.
It's late, Deborah.
Well, I just wanted to say,
I can't sleep upstairs with you. Just can't for now.
I'm just so glad you're back.
Yeah, okay.
don't think we can jam anything else in.
It's me, Dad.
What's wrong, baby?
I just wanted to check that you were back and okay and all.
Okay.
Well, Mom was crying for 6 hours straight, and Grandpa was in with her. All that time was just like, "He'll be back. He'll be back."
I just hate that you had that kind of night.
It's good for me to worry about something that really matters, you know, instead of the stupid stuff that's usually on my mind.
Like,
Surviving.
what? How did you come up with this? You are fantastic, Bernie. I love you. I love you.
I know. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be fantastic, but just. We'll see what.
Wait. What?
Hey,
Hey, Mom. Is it okay if we don't leave it away, please?
No.
But listen, just let me explain, please.
No, we must
But
say
but Bernice's gonna let me use the computer. This is for
Listen
school,
to me.
please. For
Listen
school,
to me.
just listen to me, please.
I don't want here anymore.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me.
Christina, no. Vámonos de aquí. Está bien.
Do I have to get out?
No, Georgie. Stay. No más, ¿eh? Está bien. I think you are a wonderful boy. Be good, like you are.
Thanks.
I can't believe you didn't get out.
More sad.
I don't want to get you wet.
Get me wet.
Okay.
You are a trip.
Thank you.
Floyd. Last chance that's when you rub off on me. Listen, I'm sorry that you're sad. It's going to be so much worse.
Lord, why don't you run upstairs and say goodbye to
I'm coming.
I live my life for myself. You live your life for your daughter. None of it works.
We're not coming back.
We're still going to see each other at school? I'm going to keep my eye on you. Come on. No. Come on. It's okay. It's a great thing to do.
Can't give you guys a lift, huh?
God bless the guy who gets you.
Right. Party.
Notice.
Cristina,
I promise you last night. I'm really tired of practicing each other. Can I sleep with the class kids while I stay late at school?
Shortly after we left, my mother told me of another decision she had made. We would no longer go to the private school.
Lo siento muy. No! 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 You can't do that to me! You can't do that to me! No! You can't do that to me!
Cristina,
You ruined everything! You ruined everything!
agarra las cosas del suelo.
This ruined my life! You ruined everything! I will
Te
never
prometo que
forgive
todo
you.
estará bien. Vamos.
No! It'll never be alright! You're wrong! This is exactly what I was worried about! I will never be able to forgive you! Nunca te perdonaré! Nunca! I have a scholarship! And nobody gives it love!
The 1.3 miles from the Klasky house to our bus stop was the longest walk I'll ever know. I had publicly scorned my mother, and yet she had not reacted. What did start the climactic moment was my use of a common American phrase.
Not right now. I need some space.
No space between us. Que sea la última vez, Cristina.
In the midst of confrontation, she found clarity.
No entiendo lo que está pasando. Hija, siento que tengas que
She expressed regret that she had to ask me to deal with the basic question of my life at such a young age.
Y todavía eres una niña.
And then she asked it.
¿Eso es lo que tú quieres para ti misma?
Is what you want for yourself
Convertirte en alguien
to
tan
become someone very different
diferente de mí?
than me? I've been overwhelmed by your encouragement to apply to your university and your list of scholarships available to me. Though, as I hope this essay shows, your acceptance, while it would thrill me, will not define me. My identity rests firmly and happily on one fact. I am my mother's daughter. piscina morena.
You ever watch Black Mirror? Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites. It's the only thing I really watch other than TTG.
It was so crazy.
It's so
And
wonderful.
it's to think that like stuff like that is slowly happening though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The world may never learn.
What was your favorite episode?
Let me think about that.
Mine was the father that was inside the museum of the weirdest things.
Yes, and the daughter had
Her mother.
yeah. That was a good one.
The one that annoyed me was the one with the box in the warehouse and all the tech dogs,
Oh,
solar
yeah.
power dogs, and didn't
I didn't
find
like
them.
that, yeah.
It was a freaking stuffed rabbit.
I think I like the one about like it's kind of going on in China right now where you get rated by people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with the eyes.
Yeah.
That was interesting. The one when the girl looked a mess and she showed up at the wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What about the video game one where he ends up dying in 4
Oh my
seconds?
gosh. Yes.
That was crazy funny.
I cannot believe that.
I was confused when his girlfriend came in. I was like, I found you.
Oh, I like the one with the like find your soulmate.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that was crazy too.
Yeah.
They happened to be the app. That was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, it's a test.
Oh, what about the president and the pig?
Wait, say it again. Which president? I don't remember that one.
It was I believe it was the very first episode of the first season,
Mm-hmm.
and they had kidnapped.
Oh my
princess,
gosh, yes.
And they was like, the only way we'll get her back is if you go on live television,
Right.
And
Right.
with the pig.
That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was so crazy.
I'm excited to watch this one at home. Here. This was actually interesting. I just saw the first episode, was part of the first episode, and one of the guys, he talks about how he was committed as a teenager and he went to, adult prison. And so pretty much he made him, like, he tried to do things to get on death row because they have more freedom on death row.
What?
Than they do in the regular prison. Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty crazy. It's an interesting
I later learned a lot
watch.
about the hoods.
Especially for a psychiatrist. Especially for a psychiatrist.
The father's a good man from everything that I've learned about the family. And his father had 3 boys, which was Michael Jr., which was Nicholas, and there was a younger brother. Well, I learned that Michael was a young man that had a lot of potential. this was a potential that was cut short. I understand from his family's perspective that they kind of see me as a responsible party. There's a point that I had to come to in my life where I had to realize that I put myself in this position and I was a part of this crime that took place. My name is Kenneth Foster Jr. I'll be 41 years old next month. I was convicted for capital murder and I was sentenced to death in 1997.
Robert here.
I walked in, I fired one shot. As I got closer, I fired one more shot. Two shots in the cheek and then stopped in the jaw. I drove around behind the desk and I stabbed.
Oh, there's also a show on here called Afflicted. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it, but it's about it's a varies of people. I believe it's like 4 or 5 different people, and they have this illness. It's all they all think they have Lyme disease, but Lyme disease is very hard to diagnose. So it's pretty much about their lives, how they're living, what they go through every day. And that is very interesting. Very, very interesting. And, they go to all these doctors and nobody can really tell them what's going on. And each person has kind of like different symptoms and stuff, and they're going through different things. But it's all coming back to people are telling them, well, you're showing symptoms of like Lyme disease. So I found that interesting.
What's that one called?
Afflicted. Yes, I wish that's the name of it. Afflicted.
That's sad.
I don't need this. I done got old with this beard. I done got gray hairs everywhere. Well, I grew up mostly in San Antonio, Texas. Both of my parents were, unfortunately, they were both drug addicts and in and out of prison. When I had my time with my father, that time was spent mostly on his terms, which was him going in the store, stealing to support his habit, watching him shoot drugs. Sometimes he tried to teach me how to be a better criminal when I was just a child.
He needs to be set free.
Eventually, around 4th grade, which was in the 80s, my grandparents took me in. They wanted to give me a chance in life, and they did their best to raise me from there. So, for me to sit here and say that I didn't have an opportunity would be wrong. I'd be telling a lie. They deserve better than what I did. At the time, which was 1996, I was getting involved in music. I had friends that had a recording studio. And the night in question, which was August 14th, we were hanging out, we were smoking, we were drinking, and we were kind of club hopping. We wanted to go see different clubs. And there was 4 of us that was in the car. I was driving. In the front passenger seat was Julius Steen. Sitting behind me was Mauricio Brown, and in the passenger back seat was Dwayne Dillard. As we were driving, one of the occupants said, they asked if maybe we wanted to pull a jack move, and a jack move was pretty much, you kind of run up on somebody, and it's basically, it's a robbery. Under the law, it's a robbery. I was, I fell to peer pressure, and I said, okay. And so this happened twice, and there was an unsettling feeling in me. I knew it was wrong, and I knew it shouldn't be happening. And we decided to stop, we were kind of what you would call joyriding. We knew that we were headed in the direction of a club that we had heard about. And so as we were driving towards this area, there was another 2 cars that were in front of us. The 2 cars ended up turning into a residential area. That's where the events took a wrong turn. They ended up pulling up into a house to the left. So we kept going straight down the road. The road we thought it was a dead end, so we made a U-turn. As we were getting ready to leave the residential area, there was a female that was standing at the end of the driveway, and she kind of flagged us down. She looked in the car and she wanted to know, hey, do I know you? We said, no, you don't know us. And she was dressed real skimpy, it came out later that she was a stripper, She looked good. But she was a beautiful woman. And one of the occupants in the car had actually said that. I believe it was Mauricio Brown who was in the back. And Mauricio Brown was kind of a class clown, and he was a goofball. He liked to flirt with women. So he told her, he said, hey, you look good. And she said, well, if you like what you see, take a picture, it'll last longer. So at that point, Mauricio Brown exited the car. And, he approached the woman. And at the top of the driveway, Michael Hood Jr. was there. What happened at this point is under a lot of controversy. At the time that Mauricio Brown left the car, we were about 70 feet away at the bottom of the driveway. The driveway went up like a slope, and then it went into like a carport, okay? So whatever took place up there is probably only known between Mauricio, Michael, and Mary Patrick, because they were the only ones that were there.
This is SAPD case number 96492347, the scene of a capital murder.
I didn't know he had a gun. He never said he's taking the gun. He never said, be prepared to take off. We really didn't know what he was going out to do. We really thought he was going out to goof around with the female. According to Mauricio Brown's testimony, he said that Michael brandished a weapon, and when he brandished the weapon, he said he pulled his weapon and it went off. Mauricio Brown testified that we didn't plan a robbery. He testified that nobody encouraged him to rob, and he testified that he acted on his own accord. Unfortunately, that wasn't good enough. You know, the jury didn't believe it, you know, and they convicted both of us of capital murder. They convicted me of being a conspirator to the crime. They convicted me mostly for being a driver, for driving the car. And they handed down a death sentence for that.
It's backwards, you guys, but this is the NYBEE Royal Edge Jelly.
I can honestly say that you don't understand death row until you're there. You don't know if you're going to get to death row and people are going to be trying to kill you, murder you, fight you. I mean, it was scary. Every day when you're there, and every year, there was executions mounting up. Some of these guys became my friends. People that, hey man, I got an execution date, man. I'll see you. And it's like, that's gonna be me. You can't put that into words. It's a traumatic process. It's a traumatic process. To tell you about what happened on the day of my execution, I have to tell you about what happened the day before. I had become real vocal on death row because we ended up gaining a reputation for being vocal and willing to protest for our rights. They decided to remove me from death row a day early of my execution. I was scared to death. I didn't know why they were coming. I mean, I know that I can't get executed before my execution, but what do I know? I didn't know anything up to that point. So when they came and took me out of my cell, I went to the ground. I laid it down. I refused to walk. I was scared. I didn't feel like I should be getting executed, and I made them carry me. They carried me, put me in the van, they drove me to Huntsville. And then the next day, I had my final visit with my family. I found out through the warden. He told me my sentence was commuted, and he said, hey, we'll have a bus here to get you in about 10 minutes. They reprocessed me. I was reprocessed as a new inmate. And the second half of my life began in August 30th, 2007. Every day for the last 21 years, I've had to think, what can I do that's going to make a difference in this situation? Because it's hard to bring a triumph from a tragedy like this, because this man shouldn't have lost his life. Even though I wasn't the one that killed him, nevertheless, I was there. And I've had to pay the price for it, and it means something to me. Over the years, we wanted to build a bridge with the LaHood family. We've wanted to show them the person that I've become. We want to discuss with the family not only my sentence, but is rehabilitation and redemption possible? I want to show that life is worth something. You'll never disbelieve in the word redemption again. I can guarantee you that.
And you don't get lost in this neighborhood. I mean, you don't just like I took a left accidentally instead of right. I mean, they were this deep into the neighborhood because they were following somebody. This is my parents' house. This is where the incident happened on August 15th, 1996 at 2:14 in the morning. So at the time, all three of us, myself, my older brother, my younger brother, were living with my parents, and so we were all home. My bedroom was on the other side of the house. I was just watching TV. I know I heard the alarm go off, and so I actually got up and opened the door. I saw my pop run by with a weapon, with a gun in his hand, and I heard a female's voice from down the hallway, faintly saying "Mike" and then "shot." I grabbed the weapon and followed my pop. I walk out of this door, and Mike's car was parked here. What I could see was literally a river of blood that was coming from underneath the car all the way down the driveway. So I walk around, and then the young lady was screaming at the top of her lungs. And then I saw my brother laying face down with his head that way, this angle. And then my aunt said, "Mijo, he's gone." Never forget that. She said that. And so when she said that, I remember looking at my pop. I can still see it right now. And I remember looking at my pop, and he went from being intense, like, what do I do? I could just see it now as a daddy, I get it. To literally, I mean, he just, like his spirit left his body. And he walked out to the front of the yard and cried by himself. I didn't know where to follow him, what to do. There was no CPR to do. Well, I mean, I became a functioning angerholic, right? I was angry, and the world gave me no answers. You heard your mom cry the way only a mom can cry. You helped load your brother's body on the gurney after they did the investigation and rigor mortis set in his body. And you helped your pop wash your brother's blood off your driveway. I didn't want to get help. I thought that was for weak people. That was my mentality at the time. And so it showed out in my behavior. I mean, I didn't celebrate birthdays. Christmas was like whatever. Stared at an empty chair. I felt guilty to laugh. I lived with regret. I had regrets that I wasn't there. There wasn't a time in his life on this side of heaven that he needed me more than August 15, 1996 at 2:14 in the morning. I used to sit outside my driveway with my weapon and challenge evil, the devil, to come back. said, come back now, you son of a bitch, when I'm ready for you. You coward. Kenneth Foster, even today, he's still saying that he didn't know what they were doing. There's no reconciliation without truth. And so to say that I didn't know where I was going, and Mauricio wanted me to go to, we're just going to some party, I'm just driving. And then now I'm going to get killed for it in the death penalty. We weren't dealing with a Boy Scout back then, you understand? He had the gun earlier that night. He was on deferred adjudication, which is probation, community supervision for shooting 2 guys in the stomach. So I don't respect that. The idea of meeting with Kenneth Foster doesn't enrage me anymore.
You can bring that.
I will not expend any resources to do something solely for him. He can't pay me back. There's nothing he can do to pay me back. So why even seek out a debt that he can't pay?
Here's something that we did. We all had our Save Kenneth Foster shirts on. It says, "Don't let Kenneth Foster become another victim of a racially biased judiciary." It's kind of maybe not the best slogan for a banner. A racially biased judiciary? I mean, what is that? Just like, I would say, don't let Kenneth become a victim of the racist system. It's like the way that I would do it. Okay, now here's a punchy banner. That really gets the information out there that you want to get out there. It's way better than racially biased judiciary. Just saying. In death penalty cases, the loudest voices were always the voices of the victims. But we also felt like, especially in these cases where innocent people are on death row or in danger of being executed, that they are being victimized by the system and that their voices should be just as loud. Here's some letters from Kenneth, actually. You can see, like, it's typewritten and it's so long. He always had a lot to say, and he would always be like, I need you to do this, like a long list of things he needed me to do. We felt that by focusing on a single case, we could humanize people on death row. I think his case was really easy to understand because he didn't shoot anyone. That was understood by everybody, that he was in a car several feet away when this murder took place. I mean, I didn't know anything about law Fridays until Kenneth's case. It was the first I'd heard of it. It has some also language about predictability, that you should have known that this crime could have occurred or would occur. So it's a very specific law, and that was a big part of our campaign, was hammering away at that law, because it asks a person to basically be psychic, that they should have known that this crime was going to be committed. Commutation is very, very rare. In fact, I think that when Rick Perry commuted Kenneth's sentence, it was only like the second death sentence to be commuted. Execution is murder. It's premeditated murder. I saw my longtime pen pal, Justin Fuller, executed. Despite the sort of clinical veneer of the lethal injection process, when you witness it, it's
behind the door.
It feels like witnessing a violent crime. You're watching your loved one be murdered. Right. Like, and you can't do anything.
sentence, I agree with it then, and I agree with it today. And I will always agree with that. I think it's terribly wrong for people to believe that he was wrong place, wrong time. To believe that he was just a driver, didn't know. I don't think they were even found guilty. Because I remember they were laughing and joking, and when they found guilty, I think they were a little bit more concerned. I think Kenneth was most person shocked. And he was the one I was most convinced of. Even though Mauricio Brown was the actual shooter, but I was more convinced with him because you could just tell he was the brains behind the outfit. He was the one who was pulling the strings. He may not have fired that weapon, but he facilitated it the whole night. It was August 14th, 1996, when the four individuals were driving in a vehicle looking to rob people. Mauricio Brown, Dwayne Miller, Julia Steen, Kenneth Foster was the driver. The pattern was seeing people that were just stops and robbing. This woman was working, and she was a waitress at a Jim's coffee shop, minding her own business, making, scraping up all the little money she could get together from tips and whatever she's getting paid there. They would have seen the first victim over here at this location, and at that point, that's when Kenneth Foster moved his vehicle over there to that Julia Steen, a Mauricio Brown house so she could be robbed. They were looking for, and they thought, an easy prey. They saw her by herself, a lone woman. She'd be very easy to go to at gunpoint. Now, if they did not intend to go use it, why was it broken? The four individuals in the vehicle had just completed their first robbery. They were then proceeding to their second robbery. They saw two individuals right here, two women and a man. And at that point, that's when Mauricio Brown slipped out of the vehicle again and brandished a gun in their face, yet again demanding their money, demanding the person's money and credit cards. He's the one that pulled into this location. And remember, if anything, he was spotting what was going on. In fact, he was a very big participant in this. After second robbery, they proceeded to go looking for other victims, not going home, not cutting it short, but continuing. And at that point, they saw Mary Patrick in a white vehicle, a pretty woman driving a vehicle alone, and they figured, we're going to follow her. So as you can see, this is a lot of winding and turning. And I don't see any kind of nightclubs out this way. And it wasn't like that 20 years ago either. Yeah, here we go. This is it. This is the house. We're in front of the Michael Hood's home. That's when Mauricio Brown confronted Michael Hood, put the gun in his face and demanded the money, and demanded his wallet. He shot him in the face. It wasn't an accident. The trigger pulled much too hard for that. Not an accident. The gun didn't accidentally discharge. Kenneth Foster's he manipulated the individuals. The jury saw through that as well. He's an arrogant individual, and I think he would have said anything, he would say anything, I believe he's still even saying to this day, that he didn't anticipate Mr. Hood getting murdered. Kenneth Foster's case was decided before Mauricio Brown's case, which means he was found guilty, and in addition to that, it was actually assessed death sentence before even Mauricio Brown, the actual shooter. That's how much they believed that he was involved in this case.
knew that night when Mike passed away. I knew at that moment that life was going to be different. I knew it. I knew there was a new normal in our lives. Brokenness creates more brokenness, right? And I just thought to myself, I gotta get my shit together and say it anyway. And a friend of mine, he started talking about faith, you know. And he said, you should try out my church. I was intrigued. And little by little, it started permeating in my spirit. I'm a hypocrite if I don't believe that someone who is guilty of murder cannot turn their life around. You know why? Because the Apostle Paul, who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, used to be Saul of Tarsus, and he was a murderer. So I am not a follower of Christ if I don't believe that someone who commits the act of murder cannot be redeemed, because God said he can.
I couldn't talk about my brother's murder or the situation without salivating with anger and hate. So what changed your worldview? Christ would be mine.
The idea of meeting with Kenneth Foster, it would be a benefit to him, I'm assuming. This whole time, I have not felt that that was something missing in my journey to find peace. I found peace. Look, I didn't make a mistake. People like to talk about poor choices as mistakes. A mistake is an accident. I didn't make a mistake. I made a poor choice. I sold drugs. I sold drugs when I was young and foolish, and I was arrested for selling drugs. You know, I was pissed off at myself because I was labeled, you know, a drug dealer, a criminal, because I made poor choices in my life. I was just stupid. So I was mad at myself because I was dealing with these labels that I helped put on myself. I mean, so I've lived it. That's why I believe in redemption, right?
I remember this one, that's one of them. Well, let's see, this and this, that's him there. This was the Easter time. There's an Easter basket. And he was good. He was doing good at that age because I had just about deprived him of his early childhood experiences and things that he had confronted there, and he was back on the right path. Kenny was one of my youngest son, and I saw that he was not being well taken care of. Now, I'll admit that my son was a drug user. He had gotten into trouble in different times. And I saw the need for him to be in a different environment. I asked to let him stay with me a while. And that's the two of us, the kid and myself. I don't know what we were doing or what we had done. Evidently, it's something funny because we were still laughing over it. I just wanted to train him up to be a good person. As far as setting his goal in life, for some reason, he wanted to be a policeman. Would you believe it? In his second year in middle school, he got with a group that was smoking marijuana, and he got suspended from school. That was the first instance of his really getting into big trouble. When they said that because he has driven a car, I never conceived the idea that he was going to be executed. It was just something in my mind. I said, there's just no way. The execution came around. Governor Perry spoke and said the sentence will be commuted to life in prison. I said, wow. I said to myself, I mean, yeah, I cried. Yeah, I'm not so macho or whatever that I can't shed tears. It was tears of joy. Now, I said to myself at that time, now the thing is, get him out of there. A life sentence, it's a life sentence, and I still have work to do. I mean, yeah, I'm 90 years old now, but I still say I'm going to see him free. Yes, even now. Yes. I say he's going to be free. I do everything I possibly can to free him. He said I'm going to continue doing it, and that's going to happen.
I'm for Nicola Hood.
I'm for Nicola Hood. I'm for Nicola Hood.
I'm for Nicola Hood because he is going to be good for our community, and he's the right man for the job. Please vote for Nicola Hood.
When you need somebody to watch your back, Nicola Hood has your back.
Today, I'm a husband and dad, former prosecutor and magistrate judge. Now, some say all of that's not enough. I say what got me from there to here is my hard work and a belief in redemption.
He's a lawyer.
If she was a few months younger than the capital murder,
Oh, he's running for office or something.
like there's no way in hell I ever dreamed that I would be the district attorney of Bear County, San Antonio. A lot of people were curious about what kind of DA I was going to be. And so people said, well, he has this experience, his brother's murdered in his driveway. And there was a group of people that thought I would seek the death penalty most of the time. Can't believe we're balanced. We seek it. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to review 3 cases today on death penalty decision. But anybody that makes a carte blanche statement that I'm just against the death penalty, I said, have you tested your theory? What do you mean? Has your kid been shot in the face in your driveway? No. I don't know. I think you think you're against the death penalty. You just don't know. When I attended the execution of Mauricio Brown, and I was still very angry. And they asked me, why are you here? And if you want me to say exactly what I said, I said, it's none of your fucking business why I'm here. I'm here because I want to follow this through. This individual murdered my brother. And I need to see him go to the Lord. I need to see him. I need to physically see him take his last breath and go to the Lord. I'm all for reconciliation in all circumstances. There's people absolutely wanting me to advocate for me out. And if I meet him, it has nothing to do with the sentence. He's eligible for parole in 40 years. If he's changed his life, man, God bless him. I'll visit him on a regular basis. How about that?
This is not the instruction. I'm in the church.
Amen. Always in church.
We are here for a purpose, even though there were something that happened in our family that we both regret. I regret it and feel have a feeling for you. And I'm hoping that we don't hold animosity, but I can only say I'm sorry and apologize for what he has done, in which he will do the same thing. He will apologize now that he realizes Kenny being driving the car, Mauricio inflicted the punishment upon your brother. And Kenny has spent 24, 25 years in the fiber incarcerated. And now I'm trying to see if there is some way that, I don't know, well, if he could get a trial or what would be necessary there.
I know you have an opinion and you have some perceptions of what's going on based on what you've been told. I mean, he was charged with capital murder, as you know.
Yes.
Under the law of parties, you do not have to pull the trigger or do the stabbing to be responsible. That's the situation that we're in with Kenneth.
Let me ask you this now. Is it any benefit for the defense attorneys that work the cases?
I'll tell you that the mindset behind the law of parties is it for it to be the benefit of the community. It's not whether it's a benefit to the defense or to the state, it's a benefit to the community. Think about it. There are some people out there that are just very manipulative and have a mastermind. And if we didn't hold that person accountable and only the person that they manipulated to do the crime, well, then people would get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm really trying to find something that would be advantageous in our case where Kenny can get another hearing or get something that may lead to his being released from prison.
I don't have this yearning desire to meet with Kenneth, but I don't mind being obedient and meeting with him, and then, maybe it's something that he needs, or who knows what's going to happen from it. But I'm saying is I'm going to go in there with an open heart. But just so you know, because I want to make sure that we're always clear, I have no intention of advocating for Kenneth to get out sooner than he should, just to let you know. And I'm just being honest with you. He can still serve a tremendous purpose from in there, and if he gets out at the right time, then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the system playing out. How about that? I'm okay with it.
I just thought it was interesting. He was kind of trying to gently touch on the fact that he believed Kenneth was being punished or punished too harshly or unjustly, which he's entitled to that opinion. I have no qualms with that. But even if it's a huge if, which is not going to happen, even if I wanted to advocate to get him out early, I have no authority. The law is the law. I mean, he's not even eligible, regardless of who wants him out, until 40 years.
The main thing that I want to give with Nico about is really a couple of things. I really want to talk to him about the power of a man and his ability to do a situation like this, and to come through the other side a better man. But it's also to talk to an individual that maybe once in his life could have been right where I'm at. He could have been sitting right here. I look at him as somebody that was on the wrong course in life, but got his life straight. And I admire that. I admire him as a man, and I admire what he's done. And perhaps at some point in time in the discussion, we could have a legal discussion regarding was my case deserving of death? Have I done anything with my time to deserve a second chance in society? And the readings that I've done, when you are really seeking forgiveness, you have to be honest about what you did. And that means that I would have to sit down with Mr. LaHood and piece by piece walk through what happened that night. If anybody ever knows anything, Nico and his family ever know anything, Mauricio didn't want that to happen. Mauricio was just trying to be a show-off. There was no conspiracy to rob anybody. Somebody would have got out with Mauricio just like earlier in the night. Somebody would have been with him to hold his back. You don't send one man to rob two people. You don't do that. I want to say something. And I've been saving this for this documentary. And it's something that Nico doesn't know. And it's something that some of my supporters don't know. But I want the world to know this. When we were in that car that night, and Mary Patrick was here talking to us at the car, and said, hey, you guys follow me or whatnot? And nah, we're not following. All this is in the trial record. But this is the part that's not. When Michael LaHood was at the top of the driveway, I don't know if he got upset or maybe he was angry that she was talking to us for so long. But regardless if anybody believes it or not, and I say this at the possibility of my own demise, he kind of gave us the bird, like this here, like, you know. And kind of in a joking fashion, I told Mauricio, I said, man, you gonna let that guy flick us off like that? And it was really just a joke. It just didn't mean anything behind it. And that's when Mauricio jumped out the car. That's when he got out and went up to the driveway.
That's why you're in prison for life.
I feel that if I hadn't said that, we would have just drove off.
Nothing but yep.
I'm accepting the guilt. I'm accepting the blame. If I have to do this life sentence because it's something that my stupid mouth said, then I have to do it. What I said caused Mauricio to get out the car. Was he gonna let the guy do that? And he got out trying to be a tough guy, man. And that's something that I've had to live with. That's something I wanted to sit in front of Nico and tell him, we weren't trying to rob you, brother. But perhaps what I went through, death row, maybe that was something to smack me on my butt, to warn me, keep your mouth shut. Listen, pay attention, be humble, like. Why would you believe this? Because what I just said can hurt me. What I just said can hurt me. Can be used against me constantly. So I've had to go back to myself and pray and think, what would I want to say to Nico LaHood? Because if he never comes to see me, this may be the only way that he hears my side of the story. My legal defense was always, we did not conspire. We did not agree to commit a crime. Me saying, hey man, you're gonna let this guy flick you off. It's not a crime. But I assumed the responsibility of what took place tonight because of what I said to Mauricio. Mauricio wasn't trying to kill that man. He was just trying to be a tough guy. And he lost his life because, you know, I'll tell you something. It's the worst feeling in the world to have somebody treat you so good, give you everything that you could want within their means. And for you to hurt them and disrespect them in the way that I've done my family. You know, my grandfather took me from a father that was a drug addict. My mother was a prostitute. And she died of AIDS in 1993. And he tried to take me from that, you know, and tried to raise me right. There's something that Nico LaHood's father, Mr. Michael LaHood Sr. said. You can spend 20 or 30 years building a reputation. and in 30 seconds you can ruin it.
What if? That's a question every day. What if I didn't go in there? What if I didn't kill him? What if I never fired a shot? You beat yourself up with these questions. That's pretty much all your life is in here is self-reflection and thinking about the things that go on, the things that didn't go on, the things that you wish could go on. My name is Justin Riley Dickens. I was convicted of capital murder and a robbery homicide, and I received the death penalty.
Cool, are you okay?
I walked in, I fired one shot. I got closer, I fired one more shot. Two shots to the cheek and then shot to the jaw. I drove around into this and I stabbed him approximately 25 times.
I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I just killed somebody.
Oh, go out. I started stabbing around here.
That's because he said he didn't feel bad about it. Of course.
I was born in Amarillo, Texas, July 1976. I was born 2 months premature because my mom was using cocaine. I mean, it was an off and on struggle, but my parents kind of held it together until I was 13, and then they completely split up for good. And then, it was just rocky. I'd run the streets with my mom. She was just a homeless drug addict. We just committed petty thefts at stores, and we would do drugs together, and go to jail together, and bond out, and just keep repeat and repeat. Dallas Moore was a local tattoo artist. He was a real charming character, fast talker, slick, got everybody under his wing and as close to him as he could. Being lost as a kid and looking for a father figure, I was just drawn to him, and I was just kind of brainwashed by him. Martha was Dallas Moore's fiance. If they didn't have such a severe drug habit, they would have been really cool friends. I met Dallas and Martha when I was about 15 years old. After me and my friend stole a bunch of weed, I went to Dallas Moore's house to see if he wanted to buy it. They was having a big cocaine party. Everybody shooting the cocaine. I told him I didn't want to try any because my mom was a drug addict and I seen what needles do to people. But he said it was just a mental thing, it wasn't a physical thing. So he eventually got me to snort some cocaine. And about a day or two after that, around the clock hanging out and drinking, he finally broke me down to try to shoot the cocaine. And once I shot the cocaine, we never snorted again. I was just kind of lost. When I was 17, we was partying for about a week straight, and Dallas passed out. He was asleep in the bed, and Martha went into his pocket and took an ounce of cocaine. And she alone used a bunch of it, and before the sun came up, she was in a panic and asked me and my phone partner, Greg Pennell, to drive her around to try to sell some, get the money to pay Dallas before he woke up. When you're a drug addict, all you can think about is drugs. The repercussions of whatever it is or out of sight, you don't think about drugs. We couldn't sell any of it. And all three of us ended up doing the rest of the cocaine. And on the last stop we made, before we dropped Martha off, we heard Dallas Moore was after us with a pistol. When Dallas caught up with me, it was about 2 a.m. I was asleep on Craig's couch. I woke up with a knife in my throat. A local drug addict named Betty Ramos called me. And they were talking about how they were going to kill me. Craig came in, and then Dallas started beating us up, slapping us around with a pistol. And then he told us they were following back over to his house. So we went out there, and he pretty much blamed it all on me. He told me that I was to take Martha to the Emerald Boulevard and pimp her out while she turns tricks to raise the money. But when I agreed to it, he busted my nose and almost knocked me out, saying, "Oh, you would allow Martha to go pimp herself?" And he told me I was going to get his money. And he pointed to a ski mask that he had hanging on the wall. And when he gets in the jam, he handles his business with a ski mask. And he said, "I expect you to do the same thing too. I don't care what you do. You're just going to give me my money." Me and Craig took off in Craig's truck. The only place I knew where to get a gun was my great grandfather's house, way out in the country. So we drive back into town, and I'm like, pull over here, just trying to find something that we can do. And he's like, no, I know a place over by my grandparents' house. So we drive across Amarillo. We get to the Mockingbird Pawn and Jewelry store. Looking back on it now, there's no predicting that it was going to happen, but the day felt wrong. The day felt wrong. The reason why I went through with it, because my fear of Dallas overrode my fear of the repercussions of what the law would do. I walked up to the door, and the door had a buzzer lock on it. So they see me in there, and they buzzed me in. I said I was getting married, and I'd like to try on a ring. And they turned their back on me, and when they turned their back on me, I pulled the gun out and cocked it. And I said, get out on the ground, I ain't shitting you, I'll kill you. Mr. Jacobs laid where I couldn't see him, and Mr. Carter laid between the two counters with his head facing me, just like 5 feet away. I froze up. I was totally out of my element. I should have just said, put your hands up and give me some money and let me out. But hindsight's 2020. And out of nowhere, Mr. Carter came up with a shoulder tackle and picked me up off my feet. It was just a lightning strike tackle. He never said nothing the whole time. He slammed me to the wall, and I just stroked up and fired a shot that hit him in the torso. And I slid down the wall with my pistol raised straight in the air, like that. And he grabbed the barrel of the gun while he was leaning over me, and he jerked the gun straight up, and the bullet fired through his hand and hit him in the forehead. He was like, oh, no. Mr. Jacobs, he ran out the side door. Then I tried to get out the front door. So I shot the last 2 shots into the lock. And I missed it. I started ramming it with my head and kicking it. I couldn't get out. So I ran out the back door. And I looked to the left. Craig was driving away without me. He looked right at me and we made eye contact, and he just kept on going. I thought, nah, story of my life. So I took off running. I just thought, I can't believe I just killed somebody. That thought was just on a loop over and over and over on my mind. There wasn't no, am I going to get away with this? Nothing. I was stunned.
For the record, just we'll give everybody to our Sergeant Campos and Sergeant Montano. What's your name? Full name? Just somebody. Okay.
He said, sir, we know what happened. Your phone partner, Craig Canales over here, he's done told us everything. I just hung my head and I started crying and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill nobody. I didn't mean to kill nobody. And I left it at that.
When you start from the beginning, will you give us a plan? Will you tell us what the plan?
I didn't know there was a death penalty, but I knew I was in deep trouble.
The robbery and murder at the Mockingbird Street Jewelry occurred March 12, 1994. It was the first major case I tried after becoming district attorney. Justin Wiley Dickens was a volatile individual. I think he suffered from sort of a Napoleonic complex. He realized he wasn't a large fellow, and he compensated for that by strutting and trying to demonstrate that he was a big, bad, dangerous guy. As far as his rationalization, justification for committing the robbery being that he's afraid of I think is true of most falsehoods, most lies. You mix in some truth with the lie, and it makes it more believable. I think it was more of a humiliation than any serious beating he took. I think he was beside himself when he was humiliated in front of other people who knew him, because again, his driving desire was to convince everybody that I may not be very big physically, but I'm a dangerous guy. You don't want to mess with me. I believe, and I think the evidence demonstrated, that's exactly what happened in the Mockingbird Street Jewelry robbery. Francis Allen Carter tried to approach him and convince him to abandon this robbery attempt. Put down the gun. Don't do this. See, you're going to ruin your life. Let me talk to you. Let's talk about this. You don't want to do this. Dickens responded, as he always did, violently, and shot and killed Francis Allen Carter. Part of Dickens' defense was that Francis Allen Carter provoked his use of the weapon. And that's one of the questions the jury has to answer, whether or not the victim provoked the acts of the defendant. If the answer to that is yes, then by law, the death penalty is not a possibility. There's no way that kind of struggle was occurring while he was being shot. It would be impossible for what he describes to have occurred and not have blood all over him. The forensic evidence is consistent with him being a sufficient distance away from Braids Cornrows.
Easy Braid.
I don't think Jacob saw a struggle. I think he just made the assumption that that was going to happen. Once he came up off the floor, there was only one thing on his mind, and that was getting out the door. I think that's what caused Dickens to panic and start pulling the trigger, not a bull rush from Francis Allen Carter. Justin Wiley Dickens deserved the sentence he received from the jury. He deserved the death penalty because of the kind of person he was and because of what he did, but also because of the victim that he chose to take from all of us. Francis Allen Carter was absolutely one of the most exemplary human beings I have ever heard about, and Dickens robbed all of us of that.
I'm Beverly Blair. I taught with Alan from 1978 until his death in 1994.
And I'm Kim Liao, and I was in Mr. Carter's junior English class. And I've since moved on to teach English in the very same classroom that I took junior English with Mr. Carter.
Alan was a complex, dynamic, interesting, conflicting, confusing man who loved kids.
He looks so young.
He was.
He was.
Well, technically he was 50, but he should have act 50. The kids he helped the most were the kids who would be those who slipped between the cracks. There were no cracks for Alan. The ones who might not make it were going to make it because of Alan Carter.
He recognized the underdog, always.
He simply would not let a child fail. That night when we first heard it, nobody had a clue that there had been a robbery or that he had been shot. We just knew he had died. But the next day at school, details began to come out. And that's when I remember us all the teachers, in the teachers' lounge talking about how would Alan have reacted? What would Alan have done in an armed robbery? What would you do? What would I do? None of us could see Alan confronting somebody with a gun physically. Strong, dynamic, all those things are true, but I can't imagine Alan rushing a gun. Just not his character, it's not his nature, it's not the way he would behave. But I can imagine him talking with every bit of force and vigor and push that he could to try to get this kid, whoever he was, to see what he was doing. That this is not acceptable, this is not okay. And Alan would have expected that the child would comply, understand, see that. But of course, that's not the way it happened.
My name is Russ Bailey. I was lead attorney for the trial of Justice Wiley Dickens. Justin to me seemed to be a fairly decent young man. I'm not going to say he was wonderful based upon what had happened at this point. But, I liked him.
How do you think?
Doing fine, thank you. Thank you very much. Anytime you have a capital murder trial, chances are, in all likelihood, you're going to ask for the death penalty. That's the only reason to file for a capital murder trial. So the first thing we did is we pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter, which is a lesser included offense, part of the charges against the justice. Now, the issue here is whether or not Justin really intended to kill Mr. Carter because he felt like it, or because he wanted to. But I mean, Mr. Graham read the same reports I did. And realistically, the only way this could have taken place is this way. When Justin pulled the gun, there was a counter between Justin and the two individuals that were in that store at that point in time. He did tell both parties to get down. And at that point, he realized he was making a very foolish mistake. And I think as a result of him turning his back on Mr. Carter came across that counter. And in the course of events, were shot when they were fighting for that gun. There was an eyewitness, Mr. Jacob, but he wouldn't sign his statement unless he got approval from Mr. Farron. I'm not too sure why he needed Mr. Farron's approval. Because I know if I gave a statement to somebody, I would live with that statement because it's true.
The forensic evidence is consistent with him being a sufficient distance away from Redstone Park while those rounds are being fired.
I just can't fathom they actually accepted that. I would have assumed that the police department would have at least what they call strung the room to determine where the bullets went and where they came from. This would have proven or shown possibly about the fight between Justin Dickens and Mr. Carter. But they never strung it. They didn't think it was relevant to anything. It could have made a big difference for us. But then even the police department doesn't work for the defense, they work for the state of Texas. Justin to me seemed to be a very young man that was just scared to death. What we were able to ascertain is that Dallas Moore that threatened him get him some money back for something that he, Justin, and Mr. Moore's wife had supposedly done. If Dallas Moore taken a stand, then it may have come out that there were a lot more things going on that the state was willing to acknowledge than a jury. And if we could have his wife there separately from Dallas, his wife could have testified as to what actually happened with him and Justin. But it was amazing. All of a sudden, Mr. Moore and a lot of the other witnesses were gone. Now, I don't know what happened, how it got there to that point, but our investigators could not find him anywhere. And I'm not saying the state did anything wrong. It's just the fact Dallas was covering his own backside, so to speak. And so, yeah, I understand him taking off based on that. But it sure would have helped us.
I met Justin 2 years before the incident in 7th grade. We were in a summer school class together at Livingston Summer School. Yeah, thanks. You eat that? No leftovers in this house. Justin, he was a little wild country boy talking about hog hunting and bow and arrows. He was pretty wild for a kid. Okay, guys. Sarah, be nice. My father knew his mother from drugs. Be nice. So I ended up running into Justin at my dad's house. At that moment, I think I realized that my friends were, doing a little bit more than smoking a little bit of weed and having a couple of shots here and at a party. My father, he's really charismatic. I mean, people are drawn to him. I would say that he's comparable to a much more friendly Charles Manson. He just can draw the people in. He has a way of making people do what he wants them to do. He was in prison my whole life. Each time he got out of prison, instead of getting better, he got worse. It just seemed like the further it went, it was like a downward spiral, more and more charges until it led to this point, 25 years later. The last 8 months, he's been a fugitive for actually tying up an 83-year-old woman and hurting her in her home, a home invasion. Something that you wouldn't think that your father would do, but.
from a different one in Fort Worth. My mom wouldn't let her name me Fort Worth, so I ended up with Dallas.
And my name came up like 58 times in the trial, so everybody wanted to talk to me. Not like the star of the show. I don't mind. Most people tell you I don't mind. I shoot straight from the hip. My daughter introduced me to Justin. Did she tell you that? Man, that little shit. He caused so much trauma in my life. My wife liked him. He stole over a fucking ounce from me. Did he tell you that? I was asleep, took it all from him. I put my gun to the kid's head and I said, "You're going to Marcus and you guys are going to apologize for letting her leave my house, you know, and nothing wrong with you. You guys are supposed to be my friends."
He pretty much blamed it all on me. He pointed to a ski mask that he had hanging on the wall. He said, "I don't care what you do, you're just gonna give me my money."
Ooh, I put that on the bottom. I swear to God, man, that is a fictitious lie. It's a fictitious lie. I never said, boom, 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 you're gonna go do this and do that, go get my money and send him on robbery. That is BS. I did not want no involvement in his bullshit and had no idea that he was fucking guy gonna do that. I let him off. He didn't really rob me. My wife robbed me. So I said, "I want you to take my wife to the motel and watch her. Make sure no trick stays with her more than 15 minutes. Let her earn my fucking money. She's the one who took my shit. Will you do that for me?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll pick that bitch." When he said that, I hit him. Look at his mug shots. When he got to, I wouldn't let him get up. I kick-stomped his ass straight out of my house, and I goes, "Don't you ever come back to my house. You can't pay me. You can't buy nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't apologize. I don't want you piece of shit ass in my house ever again." That's what I did. I'm not going to be laid out some flawless mask. You know what I mean? I don't want to be no involvement of that man getting murdered because I didn't have no involvement in it. He didn't hold me nothing. He was paid in full. I punched him out. I think he should get a break, but not a break at my expense to sit there and say, "I told him and ordered him to go do that." Dude, I would tell you if I had said that, but no. If he went to rob that, he went to rob that to try to fucking impress my wife.
Well, my name is Martha Cumminsbell now. I got clean from all drugs in 97. I am a mom. I have 7 kids. 4 sandwiches and 2 salads. I work at an agency that specializes in treating people with borderline personality disorder, almost always suicidal or self-harming. So I can relate to that. I cut ties with Dallas a long time ago. So I'm not afraid of him anymore. He's just nervous.
Oh, God.
I remember when I met Justin. I lived in an apartment with Dallas. First of all, I thought he was about 12.
There he is, right there, Marcus.
And he was like a little street kid.
The little short one is Justin. There was a real innocence about Justin.
No, there's Dallas.
Dallas was 10 years older than me, and I met him after he had done, I think, close to 10 years in a Missouri State Penitentiary. But I think we were all kind of sucked into that excitement and the drug use. And Dallas was older than all of us and had already been to prison and was just so cool.
Then there's Dad now.
Do you remember him?
Real guy? Yes, that's a real guy. I'm sure it doesn't.
There were reasons to be afraid of Dallas.
Dallas passed out, and Martha went into his pocket and took him out the cocaine.
I think I had some resentments about him having the cocaine in his pocket. And I wanted it in my pocket. So one night I gave him a lot of Valium and put him to sleep and took the cocaine out of his pocket. Craig and Justin and I started doing the cocaine, and we got to a point in the bag where there was no return. And I knew that we were all fucked, basically. I know that Dallas expected to be reimbursed. And that we were all pretty terrified. I don't know why it all became Justin's responsibility.
I'm sorry.
There was a ski mask nailed onto the wall in our trailer, and Dallas pointed at the ski mask and said, "That's how I handle my debts." I think that Justin did what he thought he had to do, and I don't think that he meant to ever hurt anybody. I think he just meant to pay Dallas back. And I know a man lost his life, right? I mean, that's the other side of this, is that somebody died. But it also took Justin's life. Justin pulled the trigger. Craig drove the car. I stole the dope. And if I had been a guy and I hadn't have been married to Dallas, I probably would have been in the car too. I just don't know how someone could get put on death row for something like this.
What's she talking about? Didn't he kill a guy? Right. In the pawn shop?
Victim's defense was that Princess Helen Carter provoked his use of the weapon. And if the answer to that is yes, then by law, the death penalty is not a possibility.
There was an eyewitness, Mr. Jacobs,
But he wouldn't sign his statement unless he got approval from the fair.
Alan, of course, was the teacher. And as a side venture, he would buy and sell jewelry. And he was a good personal friend. Alan and I were visiting together, and a customer came to the front door. It was electronically protected as far as in and out is concerned. So we buzzed him in, let him visit around. When we were off doing our business, he just pulled a gun, one down and said, okay, this is a robbery. Get down on the floor. And so that's what we did. We laid down on the floor and he said, spread out for whatever reason. At some point, I still don't know, Alan decided it was time for him to take action. And he came up off the floor, across the jewelry counter, and engaged the kid. And was trying to take the gun from him when it went off. That was the first shot. Then the second one was when he was trying to push the gun away, I think, and it came up through the webbing in his finger and hit him in the head as well. The one that caught Alan the second time was the one that I'm sure killed him. And that's when I went out the back door.
I don't think Jacob saw a struggle. I think he just made the assumption that that was going to happen. The forensic evidence is consistent with Jacob's being a sufficient distance away from the Cornrows rounds were being fired.
And it's good at his job. No problem about that part of it at all. But I don't understand him trying to put words in some circumstances that I was seeing. When I told him that Alan was trying to get the gun when the shots went off. So how can you do that from afar off?
Hey, hold on, spreadsheet.
Grief never goes away. It changes. You feel sadness, you feel anger, confusion, frustration. You feel all alone in the world, but it never goes away. The heart aches for that person all the time. My name is Christy Carter, and I am the very proud daughter of Al Carter. Daddy always came to Emerald on Saturdays to do his toy business. This particular Saturday, I just had a bad feeling and I didn't want him to come to Amarillo. And at 4:30 that afternoon, he called me. I can still hear his voice. It was, I love you, baby girl. I'll call you when I get home. And that was it. I was watching 5 o'clock news when they had breaking news that there had been a shooting at Mockingbird Pawn and Jewelry. And I knew immediately that something had happened to Daddy. So, just went to the hospital and he was still alive. And he had just passed away when Mama got to Emerald. But I had to tell him. The only reason that Daddy would go to them is because he felt that no amount of talking could persuade Dickens to not do this, put down the gun. But that was also Daddy. Daddy got the Soldier's Medal in Vietnam for saving 3 other soldiers' lives. That's right under the name. That's what Daddy did. He tried to find a solution. he didn't know any different. He didn't do any different. And so, to me, if he went for the gun, that's exactly what he was doing. You know, it was a young man struggling, and he was going to help him. If I went to see Dickens, I think that she really wouldn't care that I was there. But I just need him to see that life did go on for us. And yes, it's been hard. And yes, it's been painful. Be 20 years old and lose your father. And to see Mom missing him and me missing him. But he didn't take it all away. And I need him to know that I have forgiven him for what he did. That doesn't mean I like him. That doesn't mean I wanted his pen pal. But I had to forgive him. But I don't think he would care. The one thing that will always stick out in my mind about Dickens is the very last question of the trial. And just ask him, now that you have met Mr. Carter's wife and daughter and mother and brothers and sisters, how do you feel about what you did? And Dickens looked at us and then looked at James Farron and said, you know, Mr. Farron, I'm really, really sorry this happened to me.
I'm sorry. Sorry I said that. I'm sorry. I was a jackass. I mean, what I said was probably devastatingly cruel, but I can't even make an excuse for that.
Yeah,
It caused so much trauma in my life. Man, a little shit. I never said, boom, 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 do this, do that, go get my money, and set them on robbery. I was gonna be a grade out some Charles Manson. You know what I mean? I don't want to be so involved in that man getting murdered because I didn't have no involvement in it.
I really met the wrong person in a very pivotal point in my juvenile days. It created disaster and tragedy. And I was Dallas's little protege. I idolized him. I didn't think he was dangerous like that. I thought he was a big kid until the mask kind of came off and it was directed at me.
I stole a note. I don't know why it all became Justin's responsibility. Dallas pointed at the ski mask and said, that's how I handle my debts. And if I had been a guy and I hadn't have been married to Dallas, I probably would have been in the car too.
It's a small blessing. All I've ever asked for is just to let it be heard. You know, I bear my own cross and I live with what I done, and and it don't never change. It don't never get no easier. That's all I ever wanted was somebody to speak truthfully about it.
Is it okay, Mr. Robert? Get down on the floor. At some point, and I still don't know why, Alan decided it was time for him to take action. Alan was trying to get the gun when the shots went off. And it came up through the webbing in his finger and hit him in the head.
I got chill bumps. never thought anybody would admit to anything like that. That I just didn't go in there in cold blood. And just for wanton reasons. I mean, I was scared. I was in water that I never swam before, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was in a situation, and I don't really know what to say to that, because that's the last thing I really expected to hear to this right here.
I need him to know that I have forgiven him for what he did. That doesn't mean I like him. That doesn't mean I want to be his pen pal. But for me to go on, I had to forgive him.
Hearing that, do you have any message for Christy Carter?
Thank you, Emily. Thank you. I know I'm not worth nothing, but thank you. Really, thank you.
It's difficult for me to go back and try to quantify how I felt and what I was
Are you
thinking.
enjoying these episodes? Yeah.
To actually be able to put myself
watching
into
stuff like
the
this, like prison
situation.
stuff.
And always, for a long time,
I don't know. I just find
it seemed
interesting.
that I was looking at it from
Like I like watching like
outside.
9 bars.
It just seemed like watching something on the screen, not as something that I was really experiencing. My name is Miguel Angel Martinez. I was convicted of capital murder, and I was sentenced to death.
I walked in, I fired one shot. As they got closer, I fired one more shot.
Two shots in the cheek and then shots in the jaw. I drove around behind his desk and I stabbed him approximately 25 times.
I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I just killed somebody.
I don't feel bad about it.
Started stabbing down.
look back and I don't see myself having a very different life or experience than most average teenagers. Going to school, meeting people, wanting to go out to parties. I remember it was a weekday, but I think we were on vacation or something. It was in the early afternoon that I saw Venegas, who I knew from school. I had one class with him, and he told me about a party that was supposed to be happening that night, and about going to see Milo Flores. He was a person that I hung out with. I would go to his house and we would go to parties together.
How much more would you take that?
Venegas was 16 at
You
that
sleepy?
time.
Want me to stop now?
Floyd was
Yeah.
17,
Okay.
and I was 17.
Yeah.
Milo basically had his own
I'm gonna
apartment
have to
behind
just come
his
back
parents'
on
house.
Monday.
Okay.
His father was wealthy, at least in my eyes. Milo had the means to get drugs that I didn't, so that was what joined us. I was smoking marijuana and doing cocaine.
Yeah, 13. Well, I'm gonna finish on Monday. So I said I'm gonna finish the rest of my hair on Monday. So I'm gonna send you the address because it's getting late and I still got work
It
tomorrow.
wasn't something that I necessarily enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the address.
So you guys will get to see the rest of it on Monday. This is a 2-part series.
Hyper,
Bye.
and he wanted to go do something right then and there, go outside and